Well, hello and a very warm welcome to episode 7, the final episode of BBC Conference Extra. Well, the final episode of this conference anyway. I really hope you've been enjoying these crazy, slightly chaotic at times live streams as much as we've been enjoying producing them. This is a much shorter slot than usual, so I'm going to go straight to shout-outs. We had a number of shout-outs come in between the last few episodes, so we'll try and read out as many as we possibly can. First of all, MJ says, congratulations to Gary Rush for this morning's seminar on how to build data models. And MJ sent in an image of the session as well. MJ says, you were the first to be dynamically standing up and using flip charts just like in the real world. It was not technical, just a quick summary of the lexicon and standards, which was great. It was more about how to extract information from our stakeholders, the facilitation. So fantastic there. Kudos to Gary Rush, and thank you very much, MJ, for sending in that shout out. We have Lee. Lee says, what a fantastic presentation that Fabrizio Laguna shared. Agility beyond agilism with music, videos, and real-time storytelling. Wow. +1 to what Lee said. I mean, I was watching Fabrizio's presentation as well, and you know, it's another one that if you had a schedule clash or you didn't catch it, you know, go back, check the video when it's available. That's another great benefit of these virtual or of this virtual conference. Bethany says, stepped out of my everyday role to take a peek at Justin Simmons' overview of AI, and it was fantastic. Love learning about a new topic, and thanks to the BBC conference, I was able to. So again, kudos to another speaker, Justin Simmons. Thank you, Bethany, for sending that in. And yeah, it's great, isn't it, at a conference like BBC, because it really has such a broad range of speakers, a broad range of topics. It means that we can go beyond our comfort zones. And finally, Fabrizio gives what I think is a really important shout out in memoriam of someone in our community that I'm sure many of us knew, many of us held close to our hearts, and many of us are missing. Fabrizio says, in memory of Bob the BA, that's Bob Prentice, I'm sure many of us will have had the privilege of knowing, the privilege of meeting at this and other conferences. And Fabrizio says, I call everyone to sing your life. So all of us, I'm sure now, are raising a virtual glass to Bob. So we move swiftly on to our first and only guest on this episode. This is someone who I'm sure will be familiar to you, either because you've been to one of his fantastic sessions, or you've perhaps tuned into his fantastic analysis after work, analysis after hours, analysts after work podcasts. It's Vince Mirabelli. Vince is a strategic analyst. You'll know him from Love the Process or vincentmirabelli.com. So Vince, thanks for joining us.
And you, Adrian. Thanks for having me, man. This is I get to be the final guest. It's so exciting.
Yeah, you're like the headliner, right? You know, you save the best till last.
I'm doing the encore. I'm closing the show. This is what more could you ask for?
And I'm sorry, I like totally mangled your intro there, but hey, it's the 7th episode. You got to forgive me. I'm running on caffeine by now.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
So I wanted to talk just briefly, spend a few minutes talking about reflections from the conference. So I was wondering what kind of themes, what kind of learning points, what contrasts from this conference to last year and the year before, what are you taking away?
Right. Yeah, and you already sort of mentioned one of the things that I noted down, which was a highlight, which was Fabrizio's session. It was one of those sessions that like I went to, and I was attracted to the name Agile. So I do a thing where I say, like, when you go to a BA conference, how many Agile sessions do you need to go to? Like, if you're already in that world, you don't need to learn more about Agile. Well, I don't know a lot about Agile, so I actually was drawn to that section. And the way that he pieced everything together, from process to rules to being truly Agile, lowercase, was, I've already reached out to him because like it was illuminating for me.
Mm-hmm.
I also really enjoyed, and I get to do the last episode of this, but I got to do the first practitioners chat
Yeah.
on Wednesday, and like that format was incredible, and I think it really lends itself to being distributed as we are. And so there were moments, so I tried to really go to sessions that I probably wouldn't have normally gone to, and that's advice that I normally give but I don't normally take.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, isn't it? Because it strikes me that the virtual world that we find ourselves in and the virtual configuration of this conference has created new opportunities. So it's created opportunities for some people. Like I was looking in the like the online chat streams. I mean, there's some fantastic conversations going on in the conference app, and one of them was, would you have been able to get to this conference if it wasn't virtual? And some people were saying, no, I just wouldn't have been able to get the travel budget. So maybe it's enabled us to get an even greater diversity of voices than we otherwise would have got.
Right, you're right, and I mean, I was disappointed not to be able to travel because I mean I've never been to Vegas.
Really?
So that was
wow.
Like I've never like I'm the only person in the world who's never been to Vegas.
You are.
So I was actually looking forward to this, but I mean you're right. It gave you the opportunity to get exposure to people that otherwise may not have attended, and that's from a speaker presenter perspective, but also from an attendee perspective.
Mm.
And so yeah, it did sort of broaden the scope, and the made it easier for people to attend that might otherwise have not been able to, and I think that's always a good thing.
Yeah. And I mean, Vince, if there was one thing that you're maybe going to do, I know this is like the classic question, the classic closing question is like, if there was one thing you're going to do differently, or one thing that's really challenged the way you practice, what would that thing be from this edition of BBC?
Yeah, I think it and I'll go back to I attended Jared Garai's practitioner chat, and he sort of he the way that he framed it, I let him know, hey, I'm stealing this because it's so simple and brilliant. He talked about how everybody does business analysis, and he used the example of if you go grocery shopping, you are doing business analysis, because if you think about it, when you're shopping, it's what do I need, what are the possible solutions, and then what delivers the maximum value. And it's so simple and yet relatable that I am going to take that back as I start down the road of building out a BA like center of excellence shop, because it really does articulate really well. So it's framed it in a very simple way that I think will make it easier for me to sell that concept to the folks that I need to sell it to.
Yeah, definitely. So that's selling and fantastic. So Vince, before you go, and this is something I didn't warn you about in advance because I like to surprise guests from time to time.
Okay, bring it, man. Bring it.
And I know you well enough to take this risk. So get your phone out. Right, and what we're gonna do, and everyone who's watching this, right, get your phone out now, and I know whether you're so not all the viewers have got their phone out, Vince, so we can't start yet. So we'll just wait. Go on. Yeah, you get it. Okay, right. Everyone's got their phone. We're gonna do like a huge global selfie. And what I want you to do is like do a selfie of you and your screen, and everyone that's watching, selfie of you and your screen. And then after you've taken that, put it on Twitter or LinkedIn with the official conference hashtag, which is of course BBC Conf. That's BBC Conf. So you ready, Vince? Let's selfie.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Let's do this. Mine will be somewhat less impressive with the background.
You can see my Batman and everything.
I'll see your Batman. Is that a euphemism? No, I'm not going to go down that route.
No, it's not a euphemism.
You can tell this is the last episode because the conference organisers can't pull me off stage anymore.
No, they can't.
Not that they ever would, I'm sure. So, excellent. Well, thanks.
Awesome.
Thanks. How can people stay in touch with you? How can they connect with you?
Yeah, I mean, I try to be everywhere. The best place is probably LinkedIn, but also Twitter, or you can visit either vincentmirabelli.com or my training sort of academy, Love the Process Academy, and you can go to lovetheprocess.academy.
Fantastic. Vince, well, thanks for taking time out to have a conversation. I'm sure we'll speak again soon.
I appreciate you, Adrian. Have a good one, man.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone.
Fantastic. Well, some really thought-provoking conversations there with Vince around the, him quoting Jared there around us bringing business analysis into our own lives. We really are at the end of episode 7 now. All that is left for me to say is a massive thank you to each and every one of you that has taken the time to tune in and participate and send in all the shout outs that you have for BBC Conference Extra. I would also send my own personal shout out from me and the team here to the conference organisers, the conference committee, to Rising Media, to IIBA, to Business Rules Salute, to everyone who's involved in the conference. Like if you've had any exposure to organising online and real world events, you'll know that nothing happens by accident. It takes so much effort. So a massive kudos to everyone who's had any involvement with that. I'd also like to say a massive thank you to all of the speakers who have taken their time to be on BBC Conference Extra, to the team, because it really is a team effort. And literally every piece of graphics you've seen behind me or on screen has had to be designed. And a massive personal shout out to Matt Smart, who you can't see because he's behind the sort of a whole plethora of production equipment. He's been producing these shows, and I think you'll agree the production has been flawless. So a massive thank you to Matthew Smart there. And finally, just before I go, because my time is literally nearly up, if you have enjoyed this format, we at Blackmetric will be running a monthly event known as the BA Fringe, which is very, very kindly sponsored by IIBA. The next one is on Monday. Each episode is an hour long, and it's an opportunity to keep the conversations going. So if you've enjoyed this format, join us. It's completely free. It's at 6:30 UK time, which is 1:30 Eastern time. So, check out our website and come along. But once again, a massive thank you to you for joining. Remember, it's really easy to go to a conference like this, get really good ideas, but then go back to work on Monday and go back to the status quo. That this energy that you're feeling now, bottle it. Make some resolutions to make some meaningful, purposeful change, and let's join and connect and stay connected as a community to deliver better outcomes for our organisations and, even more importantly, for the world we live, for the communities in which we serve. Stay safe and see you next time.